Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be responding to a comment question I got from YouTuber Petty Tyrant on my previous comment response video to do with the topic of Star Trek once again. And basically, it's another two-part question. The first part being, what are my thoughts on such fan-funded projects like Star Trek Continues as well as Axanar? And I have to be honest, Axanar I have yet to actually check out. Continues, I think, is stellar. I think it rocks. It's one of several Star Trek fan films that I've actually gotten into, and I talk about a little bit in an upcoming video where I'm basically kind of talking about Doctor Who fan-funded stuff as well. But there's like Star Trek Phoenix I really enjoy, and Starship Farragut, those kinds of things. And Axanar is one that's a hot button thing that I want to get to at some point. So the other part of the question was, do I think these projects, are kind of a sign of the times from Trekkies and people who love Star Trek, that they're not really happy with the big budget summer blockbuster fare, and they'd actually like some more air quotes traditional Star Trek maybe back on TV and stuff like that. And I think there's definitely a segment of Trekdom, of Trek fandom, Trekkies, Trekkers, the like, whatever you want to call yourself. I prefer Trekkie myself. But I definitely think there is a segment who would adhere to that. I mean, if we learned anything from, I think it was a Las Vegas convention, maybe at Star Trek The Experience, I forget exactly when the first Star Trek came out or Into Darkness came out, one of them was voted the worst Star Trek movie of them all and all that stuff by hardcore Trekkies. And that does kind of disturb me to a point, because I think there is in any fandom, this is not singular to, Trekkies and Trekkers and the like, in any kind of fandom, you can get people who just, they start to become not being able to see beyond the tip of their own nose in their own fandom. And the whole idea of growth and evolution and all these things that Star Trek represents, I mean, we kind of have to embrace that. It's a new generation. It's a new interpretation of that same old thing we all know and love. We may not recognize it as the thing we know and love. It may not stand to, be a comparison or a contrast for the things that we know and love about Star Trek, but that's what there is. That's all there is at the moment. And I've been falling a lot back on Star Trek novels and stuff like that. The Vanguard series is one of my all-time favorites. Seekers, going back to the original series era. And you have the Star Trek Destiny trilogy, which is set in the Next Generation, and stuff like that. I've been reading a lot of that stuff to kind of fill in that void. And do I think these fan productions represent that want, that lust within fans for something a little bit more recognizable as the Trek they know and love? Yes, I do think to a point that is the case. But I also think it's just people getting together to share their love of their favorite aspect of Star Trek. You have people who grew up, who love the Next Generation above the original series, thinks the original series is goofy and campy, and they have a distaste for it, whereas I love the original series. You have people who looked at Enterprise like, you know what, we've done this so much, we've seen this all already, get this garbage off TV. I love Enterprise. People grew up on Deep Space Nine and were like, wow, looking back at the Next Generation, they didn't take it seriously enough, or maybe it wasn't dramatic enough. So you have people who like specific series. I'm the type of person who likes pretty much every aspect of Star Trek, even the stuff that hardcore Trekkies and the like do not like. I like all the movies. I like all the series. I love the animated series. Love reading comics and books to do with Trek. And I just have a love for it all because it entertains me. It makes me think. It provokes thought, emotion, that kind of stuff. And so I think, in a nutshell, to boil it down, yeah, sure, there are going to be Trekkies and Trekkers who look at it like, let's get back to the old school. Let's get back to what we're familiar with and get rid of this garbage summer blockbuster crap. And then there are other people who are really enjoying that, and that's their first experience with Star Trek. Or like me, they've been around the block a time or two, and they still find a way to enjoy it. And so, it's just one of those things where to each their own, basically, as Captain Picard once said. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Petty Tyrant. Thanks for the question. And if you ever have any in the future, feel free to comment below, and hopefully I'll get around to responding in an upcoming video. Otherwise, I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.